Great day, great day. I'm Dr. Tammy White Jolivette. Welcome to the Texture of Me podcast, where we talk about the intersection of textured hair, identity, and mental health, bringing a cultural and clinical lens to hair loss, scalp health, and the real life impact on confidence and well-being. Each episode, we name what people experience, break down the impact, and share language and tools that support healing, confidence, and cultural understanding. If you've ever felt unseen, judged, or misunderstood because of your hair, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Great day, great day. This is Dr. Tammy White Jolivette with The Texture of Me. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the show. Yay! I'm like overly excited today, I must admit. I have someone I've worked with, just seen her grow in the industry, and I'm so excited to have her on the show today. And we've been working to have her on the show, and today is the day. So I want to introduce you to Ayah. Aya's been in the industry for over, 7 years now? That's
Yes.
phenomenal. And she's passionate about helping clients fall in love with their natural hair. I don't know about you, but I know how I fall in love with my natural hair, and she's fallen in love with her natural hair. And being able to provide that for so many people is really a beautiful thing. And I love it that you're WEDAT certified and you're activist for beauty. Oh my gosh. Beauty comes in so many shapes and sizes. And I love seeing the work that you're doing and the impact that you're making worldwide. I love that people come to you for styling needs, as you shared before, and just so many things that you're able to offer them highlights, full curl restoration, bing, 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 from damaged hair because of the choices they've made and they didn't know what to do with their hair. So just thank you for your contribution and making a difference in this industry, that people like me, that we're able to express our curls, express ourselves, and love ourselves fully. So thank you for the work again that you're doing, and I appreciate you taking the time to being on the show today.
Of course, it's a pleasure. And I love getting to do what I do with curls specifically.
Yes, it is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know I didn't. I figured I'd pronounce your last name wrong, but it's. Could you pronounce it for me? Because it's so beautiful.
So sorry, the background is so loud. My last name is pronounced Hanifa.
Hanifa. Ooh,
Yes.
Aya Hanifa. Yes, I love it. Just beautiful name for a beautiful person.
Thank you.
All right, without further ado, let's get into it, what this juicy conversation is all about, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's start off. What led you to specialize in natural or textured hair?
So, I had noticed that just as like a Black girl growing up, we didn't really have uh really adequate hair care tools or products that could really manage our hair. The only things I uh, were used to were relaxers or anything that tamed texture or removed our curl or hid it.
Hmm.
And a lot of the girls I grew up with were like, oh, I want to have long hair, long straight hair down to my back, and these things that were just so anti texture.
Mm.
And it just broke my heart. I think Afro hair is the just most beautiful curl type to work with, personally. Might be a little biased, but it's just gorgeous. Curls are gorgeous. And
Mm.
we just live in a society where our texture is just scrutinized constantly.
Mm.
And like in the workforce, just out in public, it's just not even today accepted.
Right, right,
And
right.
that is just something I've always wanted to change, even in our industry.
Yeah,
We have some issues with texturism and things like that, where they don't see our hair as manageable or hard to work with, and that's not true.
yeah.
And that's those experiences are the things that have really pushed me to focus on curls.
Awesome. Well, I always like to get people's personal journey. How was it like for you? Where did you get your oh yes, aha moment? Where did you get yours?
So I had a relaxer probably up until I was 17 years old. And one day, I guess I just wasn't taking care of my relaxer. Like my roots were grown out, my ends are straight, and it looked crazy. So I had a stepmother who took me to her hairstylist, and she just cut it all off. She cut all of my hair off. I remember when I went home that night, I cried. But at the same breath, I was weirdly liberated because I'd never seen my curls. And I just remember looking in the mirror, and even though I was sad that my hair was so short, I was still like, "Oh my gosh, this is me. These are my curls." And so that just led me down the journey of figuring out how to work with this texture people have told me is unmanageable or hard to work with. But I ended up loving my curls. I mean, I wear my afro probably most of the year. So, yeah, I love my hair.
And I love hearing that story because I think what happens is people don't realize the journey that we all go through, right?
Yeah.
And I believe the journey speaks to a new level of love for ourselves, right? And love for our hair. And it really speaks to how much our hair means to us, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I
That
totally agree.
And when you like, I want to know, like, when did you start to like falling in love with your hair? Like, when did that show up or you recognize that for yourself? And how did that impact you internally?
I would say the year was probably around 2021 or 2022.
Hmm.
I started to just like it became like a small fro, and I was like, this is cute, this is fun, and I started playing with color and whatnot. But what really did it for me is I shaved off the sides of my hair, just like a little. I had a like a fro hawk, and I thought that making the decision to cut my own hair was so exciting for me. And it was freeing because then I made that decision for me to do that and take control of my own texture and wear it the way that I wanted to.
Mm,
And so that's what did it for me.
mm,
That made me love my curls.
mm. You know, it's funny as I sit here and you share that something resonates with me that I want to speak to, right? Oh, I'm like moved. I didn't think I was going to get moved by that. But what you said was you made the decision. You chose, you know? And one thing about going natural, it's a decision that we choose, right? And it's a decision that sometimes can be hard and heartbreaking, right? Because I know when I decided to go natural, I cried too. I think I did the big chop maybe twice. The first time I
Yeah.
did it, I lost it, and I was still a hairstylist. And so I went back to at least I didn't relax. I was flat ironing my hair. And then later on, when I did the big chop, I was already natural, but it was raggedy. We seen because you talked about restoration of curly hair, right? Like we've seen the raggedy curly hair because people are transitioning to their natural hair. But
Yeah.
the thing that really moved me that I heard you say, you made a choice. You know, you took it. It's like owning your hair, owning you, and this newfound love that came from owning you. That is so moving. That is so beautiful. What a story. And I have to say that I can resonate with that because that's what I did. It's like this ownership of where avoiding what the outside world would say and honing into this newfound love for myself that would show up in a way like this today that
Mhm.
created the texture of me. So bravo, bravo. I love that. I love that. Wasn't expecting that out of there, but that's why I love having these conversations because I find that, I'm sure with you in the chair with your clients, there's an opportunity that they are able to express things that you're able to cultivate and guide them and show them. So we'll go into more on that a little bit. But I just, man, when that showed up for me in the space, I was like, let me express that. That's so good, so good. So let's put that to the side a little bit. We go to the motion part in just a moment. All right, so you are the one of the many who have taken the Texture of Me CE credits. I'd love to hear your perspective on the training, what you got out of it, and why is important you feel that stylists should take like CE credits relating to textured hair. So there's a couple questions, right? The first part is what you got out of it, and what are you using? How are you using it now, and why do you feel it's important for stylists to get educated with textured hair about textured hair?
So, why I think it's important for people to take CE credits for textured hair is as we're continuing our work in this industry, we get into these habits. Everyone has their habits, bad habits, good habits, or whatever, doing this work. And a lot of us tend to forget the other pieces that we don't realize are necessary for the work that we do. And one of those things that is really important in our industry that isn't um, like a consistent thing that's brought up is texture. We are not to this day taught in cosmetology school to learn about texture. We learn the basics. We understand like density. We understand like, fine, medium, or coarse texture, but we don't actually understand how hair works in a certain way, especially when it comes to curls.
Mm-hmm.
And so the I love the way that you created the CE credits because it was a really good breakdown
Mm-hmm.
and refresher of what we already learned,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe just needed to be revamped a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't just insanely wordy, like long technical article that we always have to go through when we have to get our license
Mm-hmm.
renewed.
Yeah.
And for me, that is so, I have ADHD. That drains me. I take like a month to getting that done. So with yours, I think I got it done in like an hour or something, maybe less.
Mm-hmm.
And I still got a refresher. A lot of times when I'm doing those, um, when I'm
CE
redoing my
credits.
license and other CE credits, they're just so, I feel like they're just too formal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm not using this language naturally. Yours was very relatable and understandable and just easy
Mm-hmm.
to digest, which allowed me to work through it quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I got a refresher, and that was nice. I liked it a lot.
Gotcha. And so how do you feel like you're able to, when you took that, we're able to use it in the salon after that?
It made me be a little bit more analytical when assessing my client's hair and giving them resources to their hair problems. I think there's a part, I can't remember specifically, but there's a bit at the end where you start to talk about hair conditions.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the things that got me into when I first joined our salon at SOK, that got me really interested in like scalp health alongside of curls, because that is not a focal point that a lot of stylists that I know talk about. We forget about the scalp, but that's the birth of hair. Like that's where our hair comes from.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
so it's really important for us to know what to do, what to tell our clients,
Mm-hmm.
and to keep those little pieces in mind. Because, like, yeah, like we can give you recommendations on a product or something, but what if it's deeper than that? And what if it's something I can't just give you something that's like topical? You might have to go to someone, but I need to know that this is not something that I can help you with right now.
Right.
So,
Hey, a quick pause here. If you're ready to go deeper, I want to invite you to two resources. First, the Texture of Me Healing is where we provide therapy, coaching, focus, psychological evaluation for adults navigating anxiety, stress, trauma, and identity based experiences, including the emotional impact tied to hair loss, scalp health, and appearance changes. Links are in the description. Second, my book, Tangled Emotions, The Hair and Healing Guide, is available now. It offers clear definitions, real life experiences, and supportive next steps to help you name what you're experiencing with compassion and clarity. Now, let's get back to the episode.
I love that. I love how you speak to that, Aya. And I really appreciate who you are as a hairstylist, the holistic approach that you're offering to your clients, you know. And I think that's what's missing in the industry, where it's not just about hair, it is about the emotion, it is about the scalp, the whole healing aspect, the holistic approach, because, like you said, it comes from the root, right? And if that's not being taken care of, then what, right? Because then we wouldn't have hair to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Great, great. Love it. Um, Speaking to that, I want to move a little bit to, I know you're familiar about post-traumatic hair syndrome. What comes to mind as a hairstylist when you hear that term?
Um, the first thing that comes to mind is like a very universal experience of having like societal hair rejection.
Mm,
Um, it's a phenomenon that I've kind of unknowingly been studying while working with curls,
mm,
that regardless of your texture or curl type, everyone has had an essence of it.
mm,
And it's almost poetic in a way because it makes me realize like all of our struggles are interconnected.
mm.
And
Like, ooh, yes, girl, get
yeah,
it.
I mean, regardless of your ethnicity, like there's some sort of texturism that we struggle with in our cultures.
Mm,
And those are those pieces that I feel like we can connect when we're doing this work.
mhm,
To also not make people feel so alone. Like
mm,
living with curly hair is sometimes really, really hard to accept that this is who I am, this is how I look, and this is how my hair is supposed to be,
mm.
without these stigmas attached to it. And
Right.
I think a lot of people unknowingly struggle with post-traumatic hair syndrome.
Yeah. The shame, the fear, the anxiety, right? There's so
Yeah.
many ways of it. And I love the way you express it as culturally, it's across the board. We all have our own version, right? That we can speak to. And I know a lot of times people don't, my interaction with some people are like, oh, I haven't had no trauma experience. And then once I talk and I'm like, there it is. You know what I mean? And so, but yeah, I love the way that you brought forth how culturally it's across the board in so many ways. And it's just not women either, right? It's men as well. So yeah, really, really great. Thank you for sharing that. Um, and you spoke a little bit on it, but I want to reiterate it. Do you believe that hair can be connected to identity, confidence, and mental well-being?
Absolutely. I mean, you and I see this all the time when people walk in and they're just defeated.
Mm,
And they're like, this hair, they attach so many negative vocabulary to their hair in those
mm,
moments,
mm.
right when they first sit in our chairs. And then as soon as they leave, they're like, you see the light come back.
Mm. Or even I
And
would even say a new light though, Aya. Wouldn't you say
yeah,
so? Yeah.
yeah. Because you're helping them. This is like I always tell my clients that the work that I do in your hair is a collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I have the tools and the knowledge, but also this is you were living with this hair. So
Yes.
please let me know what your vision is so we can
Mm.
get you to where you feel confident wearing this hair.
Mm, yeah. And I love to share where even for myself, I found a new love for myself that I didn't even know existed, level of confidence, And it's funny because sometimes it elongates, and then sometimes it shrinks. But whatever it is, I love it, you know? And I remember when I first started to go natural, I was always trying to pull it down
Yeah.
to flatten it, right? And then now, like, how big can it get?
Yep,
You
you're
know, it's like,
right. You're right.
exactly. And one of the things that you and I actually talked about, like curly hair is alive, you know?
Yes.
Totally. When we go outside and the moisture hits it, the water hit it, it just starts getting bigger. And I'm like, wait a minute, that means it's alive, you know?
Yeah.
And what a great opportunity to express another part of who we are through our hair. And I think if I speak honestly, as one of the key components, that's why this is $1 trillion industry, the hair
Yeah.
industry, you know? And here we are with the natural hair that, 70% of people have some type of texture in their hair. 70, that's more than 50, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost everybody, you know?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised that like it's only 70% because other people haven't spoken up, you know?
Yeah.
Most definitely. Okay, I love it. Now, this is a little different from what we talk about, but I'd love to get your feedback on it. How do you feel stylists and mental health professionals can actually support each other?
Hmm. I think maybe in the way that you are doing it, where a lot of times when we are working with people, we get, I mean, I've gotten information from people that I I never asked, or there's something about that chair that just gets people to be so vulnerable.
Mm,
And I think that if you are not, as a stylist, if you're not someone who has those skills
mm,
or experience in the mental health industry yourself,
mm,
find a way to maybe provide a safe space for
mm,
your clients while
mm,
also not like draining yourself. Maybe
mm,
redirecting them to someone or a recommendation. I mean, there are probably so many other resources you can offer when it
mm,
comes to mental health care. Um,
mm,
and or like really deep dive into that industry or a little bit of that knowledge yourself, like study up.
mm,
Because regardless of it's a part of our job description in a way
mm, mm.
to be there and be present um, as therapists, but not as therapists.
Right.
Uh,
And
we're also
I
being
want to
stylists.
interject something here. So are you saying like be educated enough to support the clients and however also be educated to refer them out? Is that accurate?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It's in the same sense I would say with scalp help.
Hmm.
Uh, like I can only give you so much, but hey, let's go see someone for this.
Right. Dermatologist, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I appreciate that you're speaking that because one of the things as being a hairstylist in the industry as long as I have been, there's moments where, I learned about the scalp, but I can only know so much. I mean, I'm doing the person's hair and then we know just the topical part. You got specialty people who specialize, dermatologists, hair, skin, and nails, you
Yeah.
know? And so referring them out is very important as hairstylists should. And even a level of, I love also how you said just being educated about how to support the clients, and that's, oh, kudos to you. That's awesome. That's awesome. And willing to offer that to your clients. That's really, really great. Yeah. And
Mhm.
having them, and I think that's also one of the things that had me actually become a psychologist, to be honest. Well, because I saw the impact in so many arenas of what people deal with. And we're providing that space where they can actually express themselves and listen for whatever that's there for them to even guide them on what direction to go. So our
Yeah.
role is huge, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it is. Thank you for that. I was going to ask you about like, do you, what are your thoughts about, how do I want to say this? I want to go back to the skin part of dermatology aspect, hair and scalp and hair loss. What are your thoughts about that? Are you seeing clients that are dealing with that?
Uh, like scalp and skin issues.
Right.
Yes. Usually I feel like it's a about like a 40% chance like a client has some sort of dandruff or dry
Mm,
scalp issue.
mhm,
In other instances, maybe like psoriasis
mhm,
or one recent one that was super interesting to me that I think a lot of people need to be aware of. This I had a client whose kid developed this like full body psoriasis because they were going to sleep with their hair wet.
ooh,
And it was like years and years of buildup, consistently doing that every single night. And then their entire like scalp got inflamed. Then that psoriasis went down to their face and broke out the rest of their body. And it's a rare situation, but it's still, it's a little, it's concerning
right,
when you don't have those, that knowledge of not knowing that you're supposed to go to sleep with your hair dry.
right,
And it's not, it's like a very common thing. I mean, we
right,
always make jokes about people going to sleep with their hair wet, and we're like, what? Like, diffuse it a little bit, you know?
right,
Or a lot of our clients as curly people, they air dry their hair. So
mhm,
it's very natural in their routine. So it's not something that you think about.
right.
Um, so yeah, scalp concerns and hair conditions for sure are like a very common thing.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that because I see where clients actually they still wear their hair wet when before they go to bed. And I don't know about you, but I don't like that. It's uncomfortable for me. You know what I'm saying? I'd wake up early to do my hair and let it air dry for the rest of the week. You know what I mean? I mean air dry, you know, I would have my scalp be wet maybe a couple days because of how thick my hair is, but never like, ooh. So thank you for mentioning that. And, people who are watching this will know like, hey, don't go to bed with your hair wet, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I cannot explain that enough. Do not go to bed with your hair wet,
Oh,
please.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And, sending healing and all over there for them. I'm glad they, saw that. And I assert that they're seeing a dermatologist. I assert that
Yes.
they are. Yeah. Good, good, good. And at a personal level, what does healing through hair mean to you?
Personally, it means um, learning to accept yourself
Mm,
and being okay with that, being okay and comfortable in your own skin.
mm,
Um, I think with the aspect that we talked about earlier with hair being identity, it's not just a good hair day that really like helps you feel better. When you
mm,
have a good hair day and you have hair confidence and you have these tools and people to
mm,
help you look good, it also goes to the rest of you, you
mm,
know? When
mm,
I have a good hair day, I'm like, maybe I should go out somewhere. Maybe I
mm,
should put some makeup on. You know,
mm.
you start to like add to that. So yeah, I see it as like self-love, self-care.
Yeah, I will speak to really, the level of embracing my hair is just a level of embracing me that I didn't know was possible, you know. Even to a point where the level of confidence, it's funny though, I don't have that concern anymore about my hair like I used to. You know what I mean? And it to me is one of the best things ever that I've given to myself, falling in love with my hair. And it sounds, I don't know, it kind of sounds, well, actually, I don't know what it sounds like, but I know what I feel. You know what I'm saying? That the level of love that I get to embrace. And when I think about, our clients in the chair and how they come in and we're able to speak to whatever they're dealing with through their hair and the stories they have around with their hair, and we're able to like, how they come to a chair and they're all tensed up and not knowing what to do, and then by the time we're finished and we turn around and it's like ta-da, and they're crying because they're so moved about what the hair looks like,
Yeah.
and they're so moved about how we are able to nurture them and speak to whatever that they're dealing with, and then that it's okay. And acknowledging the journey is real, the struggle was real, like it's all of it's real, and validating who they are, you know? And yeah, I appreciate that what we do. You know what I mean? Even though, I'm a clinical psychologist, I'm still in the chair for a little while. I don't know. And I'm not saying how long. For people who know that know, and people who don't. And it's part of me that I get to express myself with and be nurturing to my clients that way, that I get to be with them. And so anyway, I don't want to speak to like when I'm leaving, when I'm staying. I just wanted to let people know I'm still in the chair, doing hair in the chair and clinical work. But in any case, yeah, I love that you're on board with it and the work that you're doing. And you and I get to team up and have conversations about it and supporting people. And the transformation is making for people all over the world. And I don't want to forget, I also want to mention even like the men that, because a lot of times people think it's just women, you know? And I want to speak to that before we complete the podcast today, because I feel like, when I see men come in, we're able to service them with their hair, and their level of confidence shows up, you know? So it's so beautiful, and so beautiful that we're able to provide a space that they get to express themselves and identify something that was missing, that they didn't know was missing, and we provide that sacred space, right? That something opens up for them. And it's something like, getting our hair done and looking good, and we go out in the world and that good vibe and that good energy is spread so much so. So thank you for sharing about how the healing through hair, like I totally can see that. So I love what you're saying. Really great work. Now, before we close out, how can people find you and support you in your work?
You can find me on Instagram at HTX_curl girl.
Okay. Okay. Anything else arising with you? Any other projects you're working on? Because I know you're an advocate for so many things. Anything so far right now?
Well, if we're talking about next steps and missions and things like that, I eventually would love to be a hair care educator. So I'm taking the steps necessary to do that very soon. So stay tuned.
Ooh, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
Let me think, is there anything else did you want to add that you think was missing that you'd like to share in our podcast today with people to know?
Nope.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So I
Mhm.
do have one thing. If you could leave our audience with one message about natural hair, identity, healing, what would it be?
The first thing that comes to mind is take the step to learn how to wear your hair natural. It is so rewarding, and honestly, it's a full body liberating experience. So
Mm,
do it.
mm, yeah, we did.
We did.
Yeah, and we must admit how much love that we found for ourselves, right?
Yes.
What a beautiful journey. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. And I got to have you back, girl. We got some more
Yes.
talking to do. I love this. Thank you so much. And please reach out to her. She is here in Houston, Texas, providing great service. We got highlights, curls, anything you think about with your hair to beautify it, just because it's something that we totally embrace and love. Please reach out to her because she's here for it. Thank you so much, Aya, for being on the show, and I'll see you soon.
All righty.
All
Thank you
right.
so much, Tammy.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you so much for spending time with us at The Texture of Me. If today's episode helped you put words to your experience, do 3 quick things. Subscribe, leave a comment, and share this episode with someone who needs it. And if you're ready for the next step, check on the links in the description for The Texture of Me Healing and my book, Tangled Emotions. Until next time, take care of yourself, and remember, your texture, your story, and your healing all matter. Great day, great day. See you next time.